you're either going to bring me two things. Sometimes you're going to get them both, or sometimes it's one or the other. You're either going to bring me more awareness, or you're going to bring me more money. That's it.
Because this is capitalism, bro, where the winners win.
So what's your podcast?
The Coach HP Show.
I love it. Coach HP.
HP,
I like it,
what
man.
a vibe. You got a great vibe going on. We're happy we can meet
great
you.
Great energy.
3, 2, 1, boom, and we're back. What's up, everybody? It's your coach. Welcome back to the number one positivity podcast on the planet right now, the Coach HP Show. Thank you guys so much for the love, for the support. Today's episode, let's get into it. Big deal in the Nelk podcast world. Yesterday, probably biggest guest they've gotten with everything she brings to the table. Other than Trump, biggest guest they've gotten, Caitlyn Jenner. So a lot of people are asking, why does Nelk make that move? Why do they go to that? And why is this so important? Let's get into that. This is so important because when you look at Nelk's audience, which is predominantly dudes, party dudes that have a lot of testosterone, that like to hook up with chicks and rage and are senders and get hammered and stuff like that, that crowd typically doesn't have a lot of empathy for the transgender community, especially guys that go transition into being a woman. But the reason why this is so important is because the Nelk following is so strong to what Nelk does, that the fact that they had Caitlyn on, that they talked about the issues of growing up with transgender thoughts to eventually wanting to transition, to bringing that out to your family, that whole process, which is extremely difficult and just sucks. The fact that they brought their audience to that, I think is super important and deserves to give Nelk and the team all the credit in the world, because all this is about a conversation, man. All this is about a conversation. I love that she said that male-born athletes should not be competing against women. That's for sure. You got a person that when he was a dude was a 400-something swimmer in the world. He goes to compete against women as a woman now, and he's number one, blows every woman out of the water by far. That's not fair. If you are a man and you transform into a woman, perfect. You continue to compete against men. It's just physically, it's unfair. The muscles, the preparation, it's just, they're at that thing. There's no comparison. I know one time I saw Joe Rogan talking about this. There was a transgender dude that became a woman, fought in MMA, and got his ass kicked by a woman. But that's rare, and that's fighting, because maybe that she was more technical than he was and stuff like that. But in the majority part, I think that male-born individuals should not be competing against women. It's so unfair. But the conversation to bring to a young 20-year-old, late teens audience, heavy on just, listen, empathy. This is what's going on. Let's talk about the challenges. Let's talk about stuff. And in the Nelk comments, I noticed probably about 70-30. 70% people were like, man, this is awesome. This is great. Look at Nelk expanding. You're taking over the world, that stuff. And then 30% was just hating on him. A couple people are like, well, what the fuck is this? A couple people are like, I'm going to unfollow you guys. A couple people are like, nah, she has more than this than you. They destroyed Caitlyn. So it's expected. It's the risks you take when talking about this kind of stuff. And then you wonder, why does Nelk even do this? Why go through this? You know, you could interview people that are safe, that are right down your lane, that are there, but why go after a Caitlyn? Well, I'm gonna tell you why you go after a Caitlyn. If you look at it, the reason why Nelk wins the whole way through is because all this stuff, at the end of the day, it's a business transaction. Every single thing that people do at this level, it's a business transaction. You're either going to bring me two things. Sometimes you're going to get them both, or sometimes it's one or the other. You're either going to bring me more awareness, or you're going to bring me more money. That's it. And in Caitlyn's case, and the reason why they go after Caitlyn, if you combine the three people on the show, you're looking at 8 million subscribers. So and Steve Will Do It wasn't even there, but let's put him in because he'll promote it and stuff like that. If you combine Bob Menery, Steve Will Do It, and Kyle, love all three, they have 8 million. Caitlyn by herself has 12 million. Also, what happens? You go play golf with her after. Also, what happens in the middle of the interview, you slap a Happy Daddy all over the place. Then you bring out Happy Daddy on the golf course. Now she gives you an endorsement to Happy Dad on her social. The amount of exposure, awareness that Happy Dad is getting, through the roof. Now you're asking, how does this benefit Caitlyn? It benefits Caitlyn because now she gets introduced to a whole new audience. She now has the opportunity to get her story out there and to gain more what now? More awareness. So after yesterday, a lot of people are not following her on the reverse. She's a hero. She's coming out on a show which could be vulnerable, but it's not the bullshit traditional media. The guys were honest with her. They asked legit questions. And the reason why Nelk wins is because at the end of the day, they're young dudes. So they ask, okay, who do you like better, Booker or Travis Scott? How do you feel about Skeet? Nobody in any interview would ever mention Pete Davidson at Skeet. But since these guys are in the culture, they're in the movement, how do you feel about Skeet? Caitlyn's like, okay. She says the story. She gives you the sound bit. She says Kim's happier than ever. And that's how this thing works. That's why it was so funny when Trump was president, before Trump was president, that he was like in 22 or 40 something rap songs because he wasn't a threat. And it was all business transactional. Best friends with Russell Simmons. They'd be at a party. And as long as we're all hooking up with the supermodels, there's no competition because we all got money. And we're all going after the supermodels. It's not me against you. It's us against them. And then we'll celebrate who you took down. Oh, you took down this one. I took down that one. That's awesome, man. Oh, you're killing it, bro. You're all over. And there's really no competition because it's all what? Business and winning. And if we can get to the point without hurting each other, but to imitate this kind of thing where, look, some of it is honest. There's curiosity, right? The motive behind everything is what? Attention or money. There's no way none of these people would ever sit down with those dudes ever if they didn't have what? The massive following that comes with them. Then what do? They put a Happy Dad in front of everything. That helps the Happy Dad awareness and sales. And then they come out with the merch, which they're the number one people at, to sell the merch of Caitlyn Jenner. To now I associate myself as a sender. I identify as a sender. Plays off the transgender thing. That's another shirt. That's how you do it. That's how you keep the peace while doing what? Bring awareness, attention to yourself, your cause, your story. And that equals what? More people following you, more people interested in you, more people talking about you. And that equals what? Money. That equals money. Now, some people do good with the money. Some people don't do good with the money. They spend it. They use it to show off. These are for a million reasons. Other people donate it. Or whatever you do with it, that's on you. But if we can understand and learn anything from the Nelk formula that they're showing us of what they're doing is, if you have an audience and you have a product to push, and you do it the right way, you could make a ton of new awareness. You could bring a ton of new awareness, and you start making a ton of money, which is what these guys are doing. That team is positioning itself, which how they're interviewing, to be able to get anybody. Soon an Elon Musk is coming. Maybe soon a Joe Rogan is coming. So continuously, they will continue to get the best of the best. Not because they're the best interviewers, even though they're doing a real good job with the questions and stuff, because it's very natural, it's very organic. Even though they're not the top journalists, even though they're not known for this. That's the beauty of today's society. That's why I didn't want that Trump video taken down, because I want a kid. I don't care if you're a traditional kid, a transgender kid, whatever you are. I don't want a kid to not be available or not have the opportunity to see what Nelk is doing and go, wait a minute. So these guys started off doing pranks, bullshitting people. And now look at what they're doing. Wait, I can do that. That positivity needs to be exposed. That positivity needs to be shown. That's the important thing about here. Now, I know a ton of people are going to look at this and just hate. Oh, the ton of negative transgender jokes, why even worry about that? If you're going to hate on this, then you might as well hate on yourself. You're not seeing the beauty of what's happening. And the more I dive into this freedom of speech stuff, the more I dive into your rights and stuff like that, the more people tell me that if you're way out there to the left, they're trying to do what? Beginning stages of communism, socialism, everybody together, all of us together. And yes, it's all of us together for what? For positivity, to encourage each other. But some people like to go hard and crush it, and other people just want to chill and have a good time. You can't put us all together because we're different. And this Nelk movement, this podcast movement that they're doing is showing us that. So again, shout out to John and his team. Shout out to the entire Nelk community. Shout out to Bob Menery for being the guy that says, listen, I'm going to go watch your son play, and then we're going to go play golf, and I'm going to do wager. He's in the mix. He's in the mix, which I think is a great thing. And we just got to keep this going. It's your coach. If you got time, let me know what you think below. If you agree or disagree with me. But I think this is huge, and it's just only the beginning for them. I'll see you on the next one.